Welcome back, Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV. I'd like to welcome back for the second year Al Losi. I'm Dan Dyker. Our two guests today, we tried to get in here during the Oktoberfest race weekend, and the cornfields just wouldn't let it happen. I would like to welcome in track champion Danny Gilster and Jimmy Gilster. Jimmy Corn Gilster.
How you guys doing?
We finally got you in the studio. Thanks for being able to join us today.
Thank you.
Got to also say hi to Ella. Ella is off camera with us today. We might coerce her into doing a song and dance later on. We'll have to see if Ella wants to or not. Great to have you guys in. We tried during Oktoberfest, but when you got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start cutting corn, I think that kind of came first.
Yeah, definitely does. That's what pays the bills and keeps us going in the fall, and helps support the race shop too.
And for the folks that don't know, we try to let folks know a little bit more about our guest. You guys have been farming for quite a long time.
I've been farming all my life. I'm 42 years old. I have not left the place, so it's something I was born into.
Family business, huh?
Keep on doing.
Yep, Jimmy, he's taken over the family farm, and I went off wrenching on cars, so kind of it works out both ways. I'm around to help do a little wrenching on the farm, and Jimmy takes care of the cows and the corn and everything else.
How did you make that transition from farming to racing?
Just got interested in it as a kid. Grew up wanting to go over to the racetrack all the time. Grew up watching Dick Trickle and the Musgraves and all them race and Reffners back in the day, and have just stuck with me ever since.
Now, farming is late hours and hard work. Do you find that transition into racing as part of the reasons for your success?
You'd have to ask him. He's more into the farming than I am. So.
It kind of all goes the same, It's to make it work right. You got to get her done, and you got to do it the right way. And I guess that's just something we've always stuck with, and take care of our equipment just like we take care of everything on the farm.
Mm-hmm. You guys ever race combines out there on the fields?
I want to do that, though.
I know. If we can make this happen this year, we're going to get Jesse and the video crew out there. We're going to have to make this happen.
We need to have Chuck have a combine race.
Oh, I would love that. Since I've been at lacrosse, Chuck has had me announce some things that I would have never dreamed of doing before. Combine race would have to be the creme de la creme.
That would be a fun one.
Danny, of course, coming off the North Country Contractors Track Championship last year, amongst some very good drivers. Randy Humfeld, who I think has the most quick times over the past 3 seasons, is always tough. Matt Englert really came on this year. Jimmy finished 4th, just a point behind Matt. I mean, congratulations, first off, on the track championship. You guys, you really worked for that one this year.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the pressure was on all year. I knew we had to have our equipment in top-notch shape and finish every race, because if you miss one race, you're probably not going to win the points. So that was the key, to take care of the equipment and bring a good car to the track every week and let the cards fall where they fall, and ended up getting another one. So that was a pretty cool deal.
And Jimmy, if you look at your instance, you had to switch cars this year, but you still stayed up there. Did that kind of hurt when you went from the one-body style to going back to the one that I'd seen a couple of years ago? Did that adjustment kind of hurt where you were positioning yourself in points?
Absolutely no, it did not hurt anything. It was something I set in mind to do after the season before. We switched to those 2000 Monte Carlos. I liked it, but then again, I didn't like it. Not for the reason of the car performance or anything like that. Just something we're dealing with right now, trying to decide what I want to do with bodies at the racetrack. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go back to the 88 Monte Carlo and show that works. And actually, I raced better with the 88 Monte Carlo on.
It worked too.
I was running right with Danny with the championship until the middle of August there, and ended up totaling out my car. So that's why I ended up going to a second car, and just it didn't perform as well, but it still worked out all right.
Talk about that battle of brothers here. I mean, I love when there's family members racing each other on the track, because we know the family lifestyle, it totally goes away. I mean, you guys pit next to each other, you have for many, many years, but when you're on that racetrack, the brother mentality all of a sudden slips away, because now you're competitors.
Yeah, it makes it a little tougher, but it also, again, it makes it more fun, too. If you're racing your brother, the bar is just that much higher.
Right. So you got to have something to talk about at Christmas time. Well, again, and Danny also had the luxury of, we'll talk about this in the next segment, went out to the NASCAR banquet this year, and we're going to talk about that, because I just think that was really that was really something neat to discuss, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to be running some film clips here of last year as well. from some periods throughout the entire race season, and Jess is going to hit those for us here whenever he gets his finger on the golden button. But this was one of the neatest, I think, sportsman's years I've had to announce at the Speedway, because you had, on any given night, at least 10 drivers. I mean, you look at Danny Gilster, Jimmy Gilster, Greg Scheck, the likes of Rob Mason, the Inglets. I mean, you guys, the competition-wise this year was outstanding.
Yeah, the competition, I mean, every year, everybody works on their stuff harder. Everybody runs great, and it just makes it a lot of fun to be out there.
Now, you guys pit over there near where we do, and we know that you guys pit also with Randy Humfeld. It seems like you guys have a really good friendship with him. Where did that come about?
Well, Ryan, he started helping him this year. Ryan Powell kind of works in our cars. It started last year with Rick Schimmerhorn, too. And we just kind of learned to get along rather than not get along, you know, work together, share information, and the results turned out this year. I think between Danny, Randy, and I, we were always 1, 2, 3 in qualifying, kind of till towards the end of the year, same way with the points deal.
And that's like, you know, when I call qualifying at the Speedway, there's always at least 5 or 6 drivers, because of the consistency I've seen over the past couple of years, that I can put check marks next to, that I know I'm going to be interviewing on the track here as we get ready for pre-race, and I'm putting one next to Danny's name all the time, one next to Jimmy's name, and you know, and it's funny to watch where Randy Humfeld qualifies, because I watch the guys that are in the pits, and they're watching that scoreboard, and it's either a make or break time right there, and you got to go, gosh darn it, Humfeld did it again.
Yes, and when we do the races, we show them again on Sunday nights, and I do the pre-race show, so I have to go up there and do the show with Rick Wilson. And you guys are usually qualifying at that time, and it is so neat to see who's going to have the fastest time, and this year Randy really had it.
Well, if you watch down the track right here, this was a very momentous night for Mr. Danny Gilster right there, a championship night. What was going through your mind as, you know, even before and after the interview? Because when I interviewed you, you were really calm.
Yeah, you know, it was a lot less nervous than the first championship I won back in 2000. I think me and Corey Jankowski back then were just a few points apart.
Right.
And I had to finish 18th or better, and I was running 18th, and he was running first.
Oh.
And he ended up spinning out, and then I knew I had it locked up. So it was a lot more relaxing, this championship versus the last one. I had a little bit of a cushion there, and I just knew I needed to finish that night out.
At one point of this season, did you really start thinking, because every driver tells us, well, we don't watch the points. We all believe that. At one point of the season, did it really start dawning on you that, hey, I really have a solid chance on winning this thing?
Well, right from the start, I mean, I knew the car ran good from the start of the year, and I just knew I had to finish every week and that we'd be there in the end. I was pretty confident all year long that I could do it, as long as we kept it in one piece. So as you got into maybe the last 3 or 4 races, I mean, the separation between you and Randy Humfeld started happening. I mean, Randy nails the 6 points for qualifying, and he was all, I mean, that's a big 6 to start your night. Did you really start feeling some separation maybe the last 4 or 5 races? Yeah, the features were going well for me, and I was just biding my time in the race, and I know there was a lot of nights when I was behind him or Jimmy, and in the last couple laps I jumped to the outside and snooker him a little bit and get around him and grab them extra points. So,
well, our guests in the program, Jimmy and Danny Gilster from the Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, were running sportsmen for quite a while. Next segment, we're going to find out exactly what they're going to be doing this year. Rule at the track is, if you win the championship in the sportsman, you've got to sit out a season. So going to be interesting to see what Danny's going to be doing, and we're going to pick Jimmy's brain a little bit more, and maybe Ella will come in and do a song and dance for us. We'll have to see. You're watching 7 Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV.